Welcome everybody to our 2020 results presentation. It's my real pleasure to be with you today, and I'm joined by our new CFO, Matt Garner. Together we'll talk you through what we've done over the last 12 months and what we have to look forward to in the year ahead. 12 months ago we met to discuss our 2019 results, and since then we've had a year of turbulence and a year of uncertainty for all of us. And throughout that period, our focus at Bango has been making sure everybody in the Bango circle can thrive. Partners, customers, and employees alike. And that's allowed us to deliver a great set of results. 70% revenue growth at 12.2 million and an end user spend approaching £2 billion. The leverage in the platform means a lot of that top line growth drops straight to the bottom. EBITDA increased 16 times to 4.6 million, and we generated cash to allow us to continue to invest in future growth. One of the things we're proud of in 2020 is in achieving those results, we've become certified carbon neutral. And that's a status we're committed to maintain. You'll have seen the new deals we announced through the year, from BT and BritBox to Amazon and SoftBank. And these form a great foundation for growth in 2021 and beyond. In Bango Marketplace, we end the year with 10 times more developers engaged than when we started, and audiences being used 20 times more than they were at the start of the year. Great traction in Bango Marketplace's first full year of trading. And that's the Bango Virtuous Circle in action. The Virtuous Circle is our strategy for growth. We start with merchants who have goods to sell. We connect them with paying users via payment providers who have a bill on which we can place that charge. That generates huge volumes of payment data that we can use to help those same merchants better target their marketing campaigns to generate even more payments and even more payment data and therefore even more payment insights. The Virtuous Circle in action. So let's see the results of that Virtuous Circle in 2020. So I'll hand you over to Matt to talk through the financials.
Thank you, Paul. I'm joining from Global Infocom Group, a leading designer of satellite ground equipment, quoted on the Asian SGX main board in Singapore, as well as AIM in London. I'm excited to join Bango with our Virtuous Circle and exciting opportunities for growth. 2020 showed record growth for Bango. On the back of 5 years of compound annual growth at 56%, revenues saw an increase of 70%, up to 12.2 million. End user spend, which continues to be a key performance indicator for the group, also rose exponentially, from just over 1 billion in 2019 to nearly 2 billion by the end of 2020. All through this, we've maintained margins at over 97%. The increased revenues and maintained margins have flowed down to EBITDA, which showed a 16-fold increase over 2019, raising to 4.6 million in 2020. This high level of EBITDA has flowed down to our net profit line, with our platform business achieving a profit of 1.27 million in 2020, up 3.43 million on 2019. The overall group profit of 4.7 million has benefited from the profit generated by the joint venture with NHN. This JV is now the home for the Audience CDP business that was acquired back in 2018. The record levels of revenues and increased profitability have had a good effect on cash, raising to 5.8 million at the end of 2020. This cash has come from the investment by NHN in conjunction with the joint venture, but it's also good to see that the platform business has also generated cash, which has been able to be reinvested in research and development and sales and marketing. In summary, 2020 has seen good financial performance from Bango, with revenues increasing 70% while still maintaining margins at over 97%. Platform leverage has allowed the EBITDA to increase to 4.6 million. The successful acquisition of Audience in 2018 has delivered good profit through the joint venture with NHN. Finally, solid cash generation gives us the capability to invest in future growth. I look forward to meeting with you all, and in the meantime, I'll pass you back to Paul.
Thanks, Matt. A really strong set of results in 2020. But for me, what's more exciting is the potential for future growth. In the payments business, future growth is driven by connecting more users via more routes, giving them more things to buy from more merchants, and using the data we have in the platform to make those routes really perform. And all this generates this increasing pool of payment data. So let's look at more users first. The lockdowns over the past 12 months have accelerated the adoption of online commerce, with more people shopping online than ever before. This has created a permanent bump in users that we can continue to grow for. These are not users that came and disappeared. These are users whose habits have been permanently changed. They still have those streaming subscriptions, they're still making those in-app purchases. In fact, the number of users on the platform continues to grow. And in January of this year, we added 50% more users than we did at the peak of lockdown last year. One of the things we announced at the start of this year is our partnership with TPay Mobile. TPay Mobile is one of the leading mobile commerce companies in the Middle East, Africa, and Turkey. And there's a lot of potential in that region for Bango's merchants. And so by partnering with TPay Mobile, we give the merchants connected to the Bango platform access to another 610 million users in what is a very fast-growing and exciting market. In 2020, we connected dozens of new routes with Amazon and Google, extending carrier billing in Japan for physical and digital goods with Amazon to the third operator SoftBank, now providing that functionality for frictionless payments to over 100 million people. We also extended into new verticals, and for the first time ever, launched with 2 US-based bricks and mortar retailers who are bundling music subscriptions with physical goods such as smart speakers, as well as their loyalty programs. This is an entirely new vertical for us to continue to expand and grow into. In 2021, we'll see new verticals added to that mix as we enter the energy sector. If we look at the merchants we added in 2020, there's a common theme, and that common theme is subscriptions. And we process over 50% more subscriptions now than we did a year ago. And those subscriptions have been traditionally centered around video streaming services. So look at the merchants we added in 2020. BritBox, to DocuBay and Epicon, to on-demand media, who provide Chinese, Vietnamese, and Korean content to expats all over the world. In 2020, subscriptions extended to gaming. The extension of our partnership with Microsoft brings Xbox Game Pass Unlimited and All Access subscriptions to users all over the world. This is exciting because this is not only a high-value multi-year subscription, but it for the first time bundles a physical games console with a game streaming subscription, allowing you to access those games no matter how you're connected, be it through the console or over 5G. Our focus at Bango is all about making sure that the merchants and payment providers in the Bango circle can thrive. One of the ways we do that is using the data insights from the platform. In 2020, using data from the platform, we brought back 20% of inactive users to become regular active paying users with Du, an operator in the United Arab Emirates. In Japan, with another operator, we used the data in the platform with some predictive algorithms to increase the subscription renewal success rate by over 10%. It's the results from innovations such as these that attract people into the Bango circle. And more we're seeing people standardize on the Bango platform as their way of integrating all these third-party services together. Just look at the announcement with BT, where they use the Bango platform to offer BritBox and Amazon Prime and soon other services to their customers. All of these together generate this increasing volume of payment data. And this is payment data that can really help app developers in targeting their marketing campaigns. But why is it so valuable? It's so valuable because in the world of apps, 80% of the revenue is driven by the 5% of users that actually make those in-app purchases. And with the Bango payment data, we know exactly who that 5% are, and we can really help the app developers focus their marketing in on that elusive 5%. 2020 was the first full year of trading for Bango Marketplace, and we saw great growth. The growth is driven by the amount of payment data that we process, and we've seen what drives that from the payments business. But we're now supplementing that with data from third parties, including credit card data. The next element of growth are the number of app developers we're engaged with. And in 2020, we saw that grow from around 200 at the start of the year to over 2,000 at the end. We also signed agreements with 12 new channel partners to help us accelerate the growth and scale of Bango Marketplace, reaching app developers in new countries, but also reaching those smaller app developers who look to outsource all of their marketing activities. It's through a combination of these two methods that will continue to grow and scale and reach the hundreds of thousands of app developers that will benefit from Bango Marketplace. Last year, we launched new payment plans and new subscription plans for Bango Marketplace, which means app developers are using more and more audiences in more and more of those campaigns. We also introduced some new features, tailored audiences, allowing app developers to be very specific about the criteria of users in terms of genre, in terms of titles that user may have purchased. This offers the promise of even higher returns from those marketing campaigns. When you put more data with more app developers and make it easier for them to run more campaigns, what you do is you generate more paying users. More paying users generates more payments, and that's the Bango Virtuous Circle. Proof that the Virtuous Circle is working is evident not only in our financial results in 2020, but also in the success we're delivering for our partners and customers. All around the Virtuous Circle, across all elements, our partners are growing and thriving. Virtuous Circle is our strategy for growth. That growth will be based on us continuing to grow the payments business, bringing more and more end user spend onto the platform. That brings us even more payment data to generate more Bango audiences from. The increase in these Bango audiences will bring more app developers into the Bango circle, where they look to benefit from that payment data in what we call purchase behavior targeting, helping them get a better return on their marketing campaign. All of this together will drive increased profitability and cash, which we'll use to reinvest in the business to continue that growth, extending our technical leadership through continued innovation. As we move through 2021, there are 4 key KPIs that will track our progress against that growth plan. The first of these is end user spend. That's the volume of payments processed through the platform. That's a great measure of the pool of data we have to continue to monetize. And Matt showed you how that's grown exponentially over the past 6 years to just short of 2 billion in 2020. The second of these is revenue. And Matt described the 56% CAGR we've seen over the last 5 years in terms of that revenue growth. For Bango Marketplace, the number of app developers engaged is a key metric. And we saw how that grew from around 200 to over 2,000 in 2020. But there are hundreds of thousands of app developers out there. So a combination of direct sales and marketing and the channel partners give us massive opportunity for growth. The fourth KPI is a new one. It's called Bango Audience Days. Bango Audience Days is a measure of the number of campaigns times the number of days those campaigns are run, all using Bango Audiences. These 4 KPIs measure our progress towards the vision of becoming the technology behind every payment choice. 20 years ago, Google revolutionized marketing by allowing people to target based on what had been typed into a search bar. 10 years later, Facebook extended that to allow you to target based on what people had clicked they actually like. With Bango, we take that to the next level, and we can allow you to target your marketing based on what people have actually paid for. That's incredibly valuable, and that's exactly why we will become the technology behind every payment choice.